So hi there everybody and welcome back to my channel. So in today's tutorial I'll be showing you how to make these very easy and super cute little hanging pom-pom hats. So these are just adorable. Now these are ideal to hang on your Christmas tree. You could use them as gift tags, hang them on a parcel. You can make them in whatever colour you want. I'm going to show you using this lovely mustard colour, but they do hook up really quickly, so you can make a whole batch in different colours in just one evening. Now I used shop bought pom-poms for my little hats here. These actually came from Hobbycraft, but I'm sure you could get them from other shops or online. You can upsize them. This one's a larger version. Now I'm going to be using these to cover a chocolate orange. Now I did have a chocolate orange that I was going to show you just how nicely these fitted, but apparently it's now disappeared, so you'll have to take my word for it. This is just an ideal size to put a chocolate orange in there, put a lovely hat on top, and you could give this as a gift. So as I say, I've used a chunky yarn for this one and a size 5mm hook. I also used a 35mm pom-pom maker from Clover to make the pom-pom on top, but you could add a different decoration if you look at this wild one here. Now this is using the technique that I used for my candy canes. I just did a chain of 12 stitches and then I put 3 UK trebles in each stitch going back, and you get this lovely curly effect. Okay, so you could do football colours if somebody's got certain colours that they love. So I'm going to show you how to do this one here. So let's get going. So for this example, I'm going to show you using this double knit weight yarn, which is a weight 3. I'm using Starcraft Special DK in this lovely mustard colour. I'm therefore going to use my size 4mm Clover and More hook. They're my favourite brand of hooks to use. I'm also going to be using some embroidery thread just for the hangy loop. I'm going to be using a lovely white pom-pom to go on the top. I'm also going to need my darning needle, but I am also going to use a slightly smaller one because I need to be able to push this through my pom-pom. So that one won't go through, so I've got a slightly smaller one to do that. And you're going to need a small pair of scissors. So here we go. So we're going to start by putting a slip knot on our hook. So this is how I do mine, but you can do that however you normally do it. Go across and then I go under, grab that yarn, pull it through, take my fingers out, and there we go. So you are going to need to start by doing a chain of 18. So that's 1, 2, 3, 17 and 18. So we've got our chain. Now this is going to be the height of our hat, okay, but remembering that we will have a turn up at the bottom. So we're going to work along this chain using UK half trebles. Now if you use US terminology, that's half doubles. So we're going to work along this chain here. We're going to start in the second chain from the hook, so not this one here, this one just here. I'm going to put a half treble, so that's yarn over first. We're going to push through, grab the yarn, pull it through, so I've got 3 loops on my hook, grab the yarn, pull through all 3. That's our half treble. So here we go again, yarn over, push through, grab that yarn. So we've got three loops on our hook. Grab the yarn, pull through all 3. So we're going to carry on. Each chain, I just want you to put 1 half treble all the way along, and I will meet you at the other end. You should have 17 stitches. So I've gone all the way along to the end, and now if you have a look down you can count your stitches. I've now got 17. So before I turn, I'm going to do a chain 1 up. I'm going to flip my work, and I'm now going to work row 2. Now row 2, we are going to work in the back loops of these stitches from the row before. So if you look down on your V's, I'm going to put half trebles, but if you look, I'm just going to work in the back loop only of those V's, okay? So that's 1. Here we go again. So it's in the back loop only. So normally I work through the whole of that V, but this time I'm just going to work in the back loop only, and that gives us the nice ribbed effect on our hat. So this is how we're going to work from now on. We're just going to put half trebles all the way along, just working in the back loops. So that is row 2. So I've come to the end of row 2. I'm just going to do a chain 1 up first, turn my work, and then I'm going to do exactly the same from now on. Okay, so I'm starting my row 3, just putting half trebles in those back loops. So you can just carry on now going to and fro. What you're going to end up with is 18 rows in total, and then you're going to fasten off and leave a nice long end. I would suggest about 40-50 centimeters long, maybe. Just a nice long end, because we're going to use that end to sew up the hat and to sew around the top. Okay, so keep going until you've done 18 rows. So I've gone ahead and done my 18 rows, so you can see you get this lovely ribbed effect, which is perfect for little hats. Now what we're going to do, as you can see, both sides look pretty much similar, but I'm just going to decide this is my right side. So this is going to be the outside of my hat. I'm now going to fold this in 2, so I've got right sides together, and then using my long tail, I'm just going to sew these 2 sides together so you have a little tube. So if I start you off, and then you can carry on. So I'm just going to thread my darning needle. And then what you would do is just try and match up these stitches on the end as best that you can. Doesn't need to be overly neat. This is going to be on the inside of your hat. So we're just going to go through, just making sure that you're catching both sides. Okay, so I tend to go through the whole of the stitches. Some people just like to catch one loop. I tend to just go through both loops of those stitches. Okay, so just carry on going. So now we end up with a tube. And now my original little tail that I had to start with, I have just woven that in amongst those stitches and chopped that yarn off. Just remember, this is the inside, so none of this is going to show. Now what we need to do is make the shape of the hat at the top. So we're going to do this by just gathering around. So I've still got my long tail, and then what we're going to do around the top is just to go in and out using those stitches. Try to stay near the edge if you can. Okay, and then you pull that through and you can see, oops, I'm sorry, just wobbling about there, that cinches that up nicely. Okay, so I'm just going to go all the way around. This is so much like the pumpkin technique. So just pulling gently as you go. Okay, all the way around. So once you've gone all the way around, just give a nice little tug on that yarn, and as you can see, that closes that up nicely. And then all we're going to do is I'm just going to go and close the hole up. So I'm going to go from side to side, just putting a few stitches in. Just going from side to side. Just close that hole up as neatly as you can. Now, bearing in mind that we are also going to put a pom-pom on the outside, so none of this is going to be seen. I just put, say, 4 or 5 stitches going across. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is do a knot. So obviously I had way too much yarn as always. Do a double knot. And then I'm just going to hide my end. So I'm just going to go down one of these rows here. So you can do this really neatly, or you could just chop it off, because as I say, you know, this is the inside. So normally with my ends I go up and down, but I'm just going to chop this off. This isn't going to come out of place, I wouldn't have thought, because, you know, these things aren't washed. And there you go. So what you need to do now is flip it the right way out. And there's the top of your hat. And then we're just going to have a little play and then just turn that one up. There you go. You've got your little hat. All we need to do now is attach our pom-pom. Aren't they sweet? So I've just cut some thread off, just enough for a loop. I've been quite generous because I need to tie this off as well. So we're going to go up from inside the hat. So try and get that just slightly to the side of the centre. And then we're also going to go through the pom-pom, just slightly to one side of the centre. And then we're going to pull the thread through. Now don't let it go all the way through. I'm going to allow enough at the top for a loop, so just depending on how long you want your hangy loop, I think that'll be fine. Then I'm going to go back through just the other side of the centre, and then we're going to do the same, go through the top of that hat just off centre. Okay, now you're going to pull your thread through, but make sure you don't pull the loop. Okay, so again, I'm going to decide I want my loop about so long. What's that? That's about 2.5 inches. Then when I'm happy, what we do is we then tie off inside of the hat. So I'm going to put a couple of knots in. And another one. One more for luck. And then it's quite fiddly to do on camera. And then you're just going to chop your ends off so that they don't show. So if you go close to your knot there, they won't show. Okay, there we go. You can have a little play with your pom-pom. I tend to take my needle and then just where we've been working with it, just fluff it back up. And there we go. So there's our finished little hat. What do you think? Now you could, if you're worried about this pom-pom moving, you could put a little spot of glue there, but I don't tend to worry. What I also do is give them a little spray with some spray starch or hairspray, just so they keep their shape nicely. So there we go, there's our little collection of hats. Let me know how you get on with yours. Do leave some comments down below. If you enjoyed this tutorial, then please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel, and I will see you here next time. Bye bye for now.